Hey everybody, welcome to Module 20. I'm here to get you started with some tips, some quick shout outs from Module 19, and some guidance on having a very successful day today. Alright, so today is May 19th, that is crazy, and we are working on Module 20. We're also working on our last IR for the year. So I want to just start out with some shout outs from the amazing book recommendations that you all made. The first one comes to us from Karina, and she recommends the book The Cholo Tree by Daniel Chacon. A book about a 14-year-old who is sent to his aunt's house because he is troubled, and a thug he experienced many hardships in his life. He was stereotyped as a thug just by the way he dressed. And I love that she says she recommends this book because she really enjoyed the overall book and the storyline, and it was just very interesting. Love that. Karina, thanks so much. I loved the sounds of this one, which comes to us from Ashton. She recommends All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. And I love that she says she recommends this because it keeps you on the edge of your seat and has great details. And she said she recommends it to anyone who likes realistic fiction and is interested in suicide prevention. That is really interesting, and I'm really curious to hear more about this. It sounds like this book is about two teenagers who saved each other's lives by stopping the other from jumping off a ledge. So it sounds like a really serious topic, but one that is handled well, and would be a really interesting book. Love this one from Tony, coming at us with Ready Player One, which if you haven't read it, I agree. Tony recommends this book to anyone who enjoys action, adventure, and sci-fi. And when you can connect with the characters. That's a common theme in the books that people are recommending, that you can really connect one-on-one with those characters. Last one here comes to us from Wyatt Ferguson, and he recommends Holes by Louis Sachar, a book about boys that were sent to a juvenile delinquent detention camp called Camp Green Lake and were forced to dig holes. If you haven't read this book, you might think, wow, a book about digging holes, that sounds like literally the most boring book ever. But it's super funny and it's very mysterious, as Wyatt points out. And I love how he says, I recommend this book because it's a fun book to read and you can get attached to it and you can't put it down, unless, in my case, the teacher takes it from you. I definitely want to know who took your book, Wyatt, and also I think that a book that you literally can't stop reading to the point where someone has to forcefully take it from you means that that is a good book. Okay, so here's our lesson overview for today. The usual, do now, vocabulary. You have direct instruction today about imagery, which is going to be in some ways a review of what you did yesterday, where you're going to break down imagery and talk about the senses and how writing through the senses can be really powerful. You're then going to read a poem called Shoulders, and you'll answer some questions about that and then move into an SCR. Our objectives are that students will be able to analyze imagery in relation to meaning with the use of textual evidence within Shoulders, and students will be able to write inferences using a progression of sentence stems, I see, I know, and so. So this poem you're going to read today is a really awesome poem, and it's one of those poems that's like short and in some ways kind of simple, but has so much deep meaning. It's by this amazing poet, Naomi Shihab Nye. If you like today's poem, she has a bunch of incredible poetry. I'm super excited for you to read her work. Okay, so quick IR update. In week 7 for IR, I've added something new, and I just wanted to point it out to you because you might otherwise not necessarily dig in and actually like find this. So it's right at the bottom right of the first page, under independent reading tools. You'll see the timer, you'll see the video of me reading to myself if you want a reading buddy. And then I added a read aloud. So if you want to break from your book, if you want to enjoy story time with me, I know you all miss me reading to you out loud, watch this video and read along, follow along and listen while I read the story called The Landlady. So if you click on the link, you'll get to my YouTube video. It's nice and cozy. There's a story on one side and then there's a fireplace on the other side. And this story is a pretty spooky story. If you remember earlier on in the school year, we read this story called Lamb to the Slaughter by Roald Dahl, which was about a woman like killing his wife by knocking him on the back of the head with a leg of lamb. This, if that tells you anything, this one is kind of equally creepy and weird. So if you want to do this for an IR block, just listen to the story. It's about 20 minutes. You can write a quick summary in your IR document, and you can just take a little break. All right, everyone, it's time. And for Weird Word Tuesday, I know everyone's super sad because it's our last Weird Word Tuesday of 8th grade. And the weird word for today is flibbertigibbet. Say that a few times. Flibbertigibbet. Flibbertigibbet. This means a frivolous, flighty, or excessively talkative person. Frivolous means like not serious, someone who just doesn't take things seriously. My example sentence is, it was really hard to sit next to such a flibbertigibbet in class. I was always getting in trouble for talking, but it wasn't my fault. We've been there. We've all been there. All right. So that's all for today. You're gonna use this weird word in a sentence in your document, and best of luck as you get started on Module 20.